Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset series presented by Teresa K. Page, LLC. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were. This platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate, as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. All right, in today's video, it is my pleasure to welcome to my virtual stage Denise Renee, Chief of Everything Officer and book writing coach of writingwithDeniseRenee.com, right here in the Metro Atlanta area. Denise Renee likes to joke that she's been writing ever since she could hold a crayon. A professional writer since 1999, she has worked as an entertainment journalist, a marketing copywriter, a magazine editor, and a business book ghostwriter, to name a few of her experiences. Today, through writingwithDeniseRenee.com, she helps company founders, content creators, and those building a personal brand write books and create content that acquires clients, grows their audience, and expands upon their opportunities. Of Caribbean descent, Denise Renee grew up in New York City and has lived in the Metro Atlanta area since 2008. So here's a fun fact. Denise Renee is a double first name. So to contact Denise Renee, you can reach her on her website at writingwithDeniseRenee.com. You can also reach her on LinkedIn at Writing with Denise Renee. We will bring this information back along with Denise Renee's free gift before we go. But I just want to say, welcome, Denise Renee. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so excited to be able to have you here and to really introduce you to my growing audience. So we're looking forward to getting to know you on today. So just sit back and relax, and let's have a great time in our conversation. So let's go ahead and get to it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? We did talk about a couple of things in your bio, but why don't you stretch that out a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, that's always a very interesting question because I feel like there's so many different sides to me. Yet they're all, they're all the same. I think, especially as women, we have many different facets. I'm a mom, of course. Well, not of course, not every person is a mom, but I do happen to be a mom. I'm not partnered. I am divorced, but I have a really great relationship with my son's father, which I never, I am thanking God because, people get divorced and sometimes they use their kids as weapons against each other. And that has not been our case. We are truly parental partners. And so I'm really thankful for that. So I am, yes, the chief everything officer of my one person writing business. And that one person writing business has morphed over the years. I have even taken time off and recently restarted and rebranded last September of 2023. So doing that. I also, at this phase in my business, since I had taken a pause, I'm also juggling full time work, working from home. So I'm juggling both, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I've had times where I was working on my business and working in my business, but just not making enough to do everything. When I found that when I kind of stepped out there and was like, okay, I'm doing my business all on my own, it was really tough to make enough money, have enough of a client flow coming in where I was both not only handling my day to day bills, but also making enough to grow the business. And I was like, okay, we need to pull back here. I know sometimes people are like, yeah, you got to be an entrepreneur, you got to be out there by yourself. But you know what? If you do not have help, if you do not have a partner who's holding down the bills for you, if you do not have another way for your day to day to be taken care of, it is really tough to pull from your business money that's coming into the business that should be used to grow and expand the business. It's hard to live off of that. So I don't mind personally at this point in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm juggling the job and I'm juggling, the business, but that's okay because I know what it's like on the other side. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. So I juggle a lot, but you know what? I'm a West Indian and I don't know if you guys know. I'm chuckling to myself over here, but there was a show that used to come on way back in the 90s called In Living Color.
Yes,
And
yes.
they used to have one segment called the Headleys, the hardworking Headleys. And
Yes. Had a
everybody in the
million jobs.
family I got 10 jobs, man. I'm the janitor, I'm the cook, I'm the bottle washer. I mean, they would run off their jobs like it was a source of pride. And it was hilarious because, we are kind of known for working hard. And, I think there's a place for working hard, but I'm also realizing there's also a place for working smart. So, I'm in the hard working phase of my life right now, but I'm like, I am working towards that smart working phase. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So, yeah, that's a little bit of me in a nutshell.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. There was a couple of things that you mentioned in there that before we go any further, I just want to take a side road for you to kind of
Sure.
expound upon. Now, one of the things that you made mention of a little earlier is that you took a little bit of time off
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of did a step back to do some rebranding.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us why that is important for entrepreneurs sometimes to hit that pause button in an effort to, as you said, to be able to work smarter and not necessarily harder. So talk a little bit about that time that you took off and what that rebranding looked like for you.
I believe the most important thing that entrepreneurs need to have is clarity. And I wasn't clear, to be very honest. I knew I wanted to write. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew who I wanted to help. I wasn't always 100% sure of my audience. And I had an experience years ago. So, like I said earlier, I'm multifaceted. So, another huge facet of my life is music. And when I was in my late 20s, I had actually um, uh, wrote, produced, performed, did the everything again, the chief everything officer. I produced my own CD. And I was just doing my little hardest to work that CD. And at that time, I did not know what I didn't know. There were definitely resources for independent artists at that time. I think I published it through CD Baby. But oh my God, since then, that was like 2001. It's now 2024. In the 23 years, so much has
Yes.
popped up in terms of social media and so many different ways to reach people and really knowing your audience. And one of the things that I took away, of course I didn't know it then, but one of the things that I took away from that experience was I was trying to reach one particular audience because that's where my heart was, but that audience could not support me. And when I was beating myself up, banging my head against the proverbial wall with trying to go after that audience and try to sell my CDs and trying to get, myself booked for concerts and gigs and things like that. And nobody wanted to pay. And I'm like, well, they didn't have the money to pay. I needed to go after a different audience. I needed to position myself differently. And so what I bring to what I take from that experience and bring it into my now, 20 something years later. And if anybody's doing the math, I'm 50. Okay. I'm 50. But what I bring to that situation now, to my situation now, is that I may have a heart to do certain things or to serve a particular audience, but if that audience does not have the means whereby they can support my business, then I have to pick a different audience. And I have to position myself differently for the audience that I want to appeal to. And so there's certain things that I need to put in place, and position myself so that I'm appealing to the audience that can afford me and to sustain my business. So for me, instead of doing a lot of services work, I really want to move my business more to 100% coaching and consulting. And then that means I have to go up the food chain, maybe move on from individuals to maybe going after corporations. So there are just some certain things that I need to have in place in order to position myself as such. And I'm working on them. And so at this point in my life where I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that my the bills are handled. And then what's coming into the business over this next year or two, 18 to 24 months, I'm not even taking a salary from that because my bills are taken care of. I'm taking that money and reinvesting. I'm reinvesting in upgrading my studio. I'm reinvesting in really marketing my book. I'm reinvesting in getting aligned with certain brands and getting opportunities. So yeah, I'm going after a different audience, and I'm fine with, it's going to take time. That's okay. I'll just take that time and do the work and knock it out brick by brick.
I absolutely love that. I guess it's the second or third time around of really taking your time. I think that's the position that I have taken because, I want to make sure that the work that I do this time is going to last way beyond my years. And so I love that approach about taking time. Now, you made a mention about having the opportunity to reinvest back into your business so you could do the things that you really want to do, such as redesigning your studio and all of those kind of things, and to reposition yourself in front of an audience that can afford all of the wonderful things that you can do. So I'm assuming that you do all of that with a full-time employment. I believe you mentioned that a little bit earlier. Now, sometimes, entrepreneurs may feel like that might be a sellout if they are working while building their business. But can you talk to the advantages of working while you're still building your dream?
Okay, I'm going to do my best to keep myself under control because that is a hot button topic for me. It's hot. So my words might come out a little bit fiery, and it is what it is. Disclaimer has been given. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I will say this. I feel like there was a period of time, and I'm not gonna lie, my ex-partner was and is kind of one of these people who is like, you know what, if you don't suffer for entrepreneurship, it's like you got to be in your car, living out of your car and eating ramen noodles and taking baths in public washrooms in order to build your business. I'm like, look, I don't have time for that. Okay. I have a master's degree. Okay. I have 2 bachelors. Like, no, struggle where? Like, no, she don't want to do that. She likes to have a house. She likes to have air conditioning in that house. She likes to have hot and running water and all of the things. Right. So, not that I'm looking for a big lavish lifestyle, but I'm like, I don't want to be struggling to pay my bills because I've been there. I've done that. I've done it alone and it's not fun. So, if you are, and I think it really also depends on the person and their situations. I've listened to so many entrepreneur stories and I have to like dig a little deeper and I have to find out, like, especially when I see some women, they are doing phenomenal and I take nothing away from them. But some women have the benefit of having a partner. When you have a partner who is supporting you, or who, at least, even if they're not emotionally supporting you, but they're financially supporting the household so that you can go off and do these things, that is such a big benefit. Me, I'm not in that situation. I don't have a partner. I don't have anybody, anybody to call on. So it's like I got to handle my things myself. And I'm not saying I don't have people in my life who, if I'm in a pinch, I don't have. I do, but for the most part, I gotta take care of my bills. So I don't see what the issue is or what the problem is for making sure life is going along so that you can then turn around and siphon some of that money off to invest in your business. Like without the job, actually, I'm going to be honest, I have two jobs. um, I work 70 hours a week and I get my content done every single week. I'm still out there putting myself out there. And is it a tough schedule? Maybe, but on the other hand, I'm doing what I love. So to a certain extent, I'm not mad at it. I know that it's for now, it's not for forever. And I'll have that time where I can, go out to lunch and go out to dinner and da 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 da. Like I sneak things in here and there, but for the most part, I'm always working because this is just a period of time that I'm in. But I'm able to take money and say, okay, bills are taken care of, but now I'm also upgrading my cameras. I'm upgrading my background. I'm upgrading my office. Spending money on certain services because when I launch my book later this year, I want to have the audio book, the ebook, the physical book. I want it all laid out and I don't want to have, to take time to do all that. I got to pay all these people, right? How am I paying these people? How? Sorry,
Right.
how? Right? So I'm using the money from my jobs, plural, to get it done. So it's
Absolutely.
a situation. Do not let anybody shame you. I call it entrepreneur shaming. There is no one right way to be an entrepreneur. Did somebody sleep in their car for months until they hit it big? Great for them. That does not have to be your story. Like I said, I have, 3 degrees. Like, no, no, I'm going to put them to work, especially since I'm still paying for them, right? No, no, get me off this topic, girl, because I can go on. I can go on. No, it makes me really upset.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Well,
no.
I love your passion behind that because, sometimes you do just have to get that job because the
Yeah.
job pays for your life. It
Hello.
pays for those bills. It pays
Hello.
for if you want to eat and if you don't
Hello.
like living
In Mama Dia
outside.
voice. Hello. Yes. There is no shame in
Exactly.
that
I
whatsoever.
personally don't like living outside. So, you know,
I could be outside. I just don't want to live outside.
just don't want to live outside. So I don't mind that as well, because I work full time in addition to still building my business and all of that. I may have to pick up that second ditty like you spoke about, that
Listen,
second hustle.
it's all
But I
right.
love that being able to work so you can pay for your dream, and that in your
Exactly.
dream is where your wealth lies. I
Hello.
wholeheartedly believe that, and it's also going to help be the vehicle that's going to reposition you in front of the audience that is willing to pay for the services that you provide. And speaking of the services that you provide, so I know that you are a book coach, a book writing coach,
Mhm.
and I think that's pretty cool. So tell us a little bit about those particular services. What does that look like, and who is your niche market? So you're saying you're repositioning. Who are you repositioning for?
So I'm looking to really go up market. I have been attracting a lot of people kind of like myself who may be working, but they have a side hustle or they have a side business that they started and they're looking to really grow that. And they know that writing a book can help them open doors to the media, traditional media, as well as new media such as podcasting, such as we're doing, getting on Facebook Lives, YouTube Lives, getting on other people's platforms, even getting on streaming. I'm seeing celebrities show up on streamers. I'm like, who are these people? Who are these little young people? But I'm like, okay. Like I just learned about Kai Sinet a couple months back, and then this other person with the young man from Power, and I'm like, I only knew about I'm just like, okay. But all these different types of new media is showing up. My son, he's Gen Alpha and he's addicted to his Oculus. And I'm quite sure Meta's cooking up things that, where you can I heard they're trying to do like concerts in the metaverse. So all kinds of new media is going to continue to spring up. Um, and when you a book is that one thing that no matter the new media or the old media or whatever, it just gives you access to being featured and to tap into other people's audiences. So my specific skill set is not only as a writer, that is one of my degrees, but also my experience in copywriting and digital marketing. I get to put that together and help people really craft something for a specific audience, whether they're trying to share their particular expertise, share their knowledge in a how-to book, in a methodology book, or in a like a client success book, or if they're even just taking their life story, their memoir, and using it to kind of be the launching pad or a way to expand their brand or expand their coaching or expand whatever it is they're doing. I really put those marketing pieces together in place and help them craft a full book to client funnel, sales funnel. So I make sure that they have a lead magnet inside of their book, make sure that their lead funnel is working, and they've created like a very, what I like to call a simple sales funnel, where it goes from the book to the lead magnet to the person being on your list and getting into an easy yes for you, and then upgrading them into a your main offer, whatever that offer is, whether it's a course, one-on-one coaching, or group, whatever it is that you have. So business people are my main target. And like I said, I'm looking to kind of swim upstream and go for more for founders, founders who are raising money, because they will then have some money, because writing this book will help them promote the brand. Well, they can siphon off, some money to either have it ghostwritten, or to, if they want to do the writing themselves, I'll be, the person helping them with their outline and helping throughout the process, giving them the accountability and feedback as they go through the process. I'm also eyeballing corporations. Corporate, like small to mid-sized corporations. I haven't quite figured out how I want to position myself for that, but I mean, they have budgets for marketing. And so writing a book is a long-term marketing strategy, and it's something that can be bringing in money both directly and indirectly for a very long time to come. Some people who have, basically blown up their businesses because they wrote a book. And that's the power of a book, and that is the power that anybody can tap into if they so desire.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. So you mentioned about going upstream. You're not exactly sure how to do that. Just off the top of my head, I don't know if this would be helpful. Sometimes the very premier level of members with chambers is where you will meet those corporate CEOs and those business people and things like that. So that might be your area of opportunity there. So as we move forward, I want to talk about, especially as you begin to engage with business people and with corporations or those corporate leaders, how do you believe that you will be able to establish authentic trust with the business leaders that you will eventually get in front of? How will you establish that authentic trust with them?
Content and networking. Sorry. Content. Fortunately, I love making content, so that's not an issue for me. Some people cannot stand it, and I get it. It is time consuming, but I'm a creative. Remember, I'm also a musician, so I love creating things, and I'm a writer, so I love writing things. And video is like my new thing now. I'm like, oh my god, let's get on the camera. Although, especially as a female, I feel the pressure that, oh god, I got to make sure my hair looks good, that makeup is right, the lighting is good, especially since I'm a darker melanated sister. I'm like, I'm always fighting with the lighting in my studio. So but really, when people engage you with your content and see your personality, see how you present yourself, and then also too, I'm an educator. Education is my background as well. So I think when people not I think I know what happens for me personally, and it happens over and over and over. The majority of my clients that I've gotten through my business since I started in like 2014 has been through networking. But what also happens is, even through that networking, people will refer me to others. So what happens is they'll refer them to me, and then that person goes stalking me. At one point in time, I had on my old page, I had like a whole library of content on Facebook. And I just one particular client that we've been working together for a few years now, and she just published her book last August. Oh my God, it's going to be a year. Oh my God. Gosh. Oh my goodness. I just said that. I'm like, yeah, it was last August. So wait, hold on. Man, we're coming up on a year. But she says in her testimonial video that she stalked my content. So the person said, yeah, hey, check out Denise Renee. She checked out my stuff. And she's like, oh, okay, she really knows what she's talking about because she went through my content library. And because, I am me everywhere I go. So I'm a little bit quippy, a little bit sarcastic, a little bit lively, a little bit all of the things. That all just bleeds out, right? So she just like made a connection with me from my content and then called and made an appointment. And then, boom, it is 3-4 years later, we're still working together and, have developed a friendship. And that happens to me a lot, which I love. So really it is content and networking and content. Let people get an opportunity to see who you are. Video, if you can stomach it, video. And I would say this: sometimes people feel like, oh, well, I don't have a big, vibrant personality. I'm not interesting, or I do educational content, and I do, it's not really that exciting. I do, I'm an accountant. Listen, there's some things that people want to learn. And it doesn't matter your personality. I'm a big YouTube girly. If there's any social media platform that I'm on, it is YouTube. Me and Instagram, we ain't friends. Facebook and I, we broke up a long time ago, all of that, right? But YouTube, I'm on there all day, all night. And I follow a variety of different people for a variety of different reasons, and they have a variety of personalities. There's this one particular writing coach, and she focuses on low content books. And she is this white woman from the Midwest, really nice, really sweet, really calm. And just, she does not have a big rah-rah personality. And I actually kind of like her delivery. I like that she's, very straightforward, very matter of fact. This is, whatever. And I feel like I could trust what she's saying. There's another content creator. His name is Roberto Blake. He's a Black, if you want to give a stereotype, if you want to say like, the Black geek nerdy type, that's him. But I love him anyway, because I like his delivery. He's, he puts in these little sarcastic little jokes and, just things that are just off the cuff, but I like his personality. And then there are people that are kind of like me, really energetic, really explosive, and I like them too. So no matter what type of personality you have, be yourself on camera. And video is just more connective than any other type of medium. If you have a well-established audience, maybe you can get away with just doing audio for them, like an audio-only podcast. But I think video is very powerful. People get to see your face, and I'm going to take it one step further. I have a video up on my personal channel where I talked about leaving my last corporate job. Even though I'm in a corporate job now, but the last corporate job, like 6-7 years ago, when I decided to go into my business full time, I left there because I was basically not wanted there. The people who were always elevated did not look like me at all. And they were always trying to find something to just kind of frustrate me. And they won. I said, you know what? It's your ball. It's your game. Keep your ball. Keep your game. I'm leaving. And I was told by the second in command at the time, and they became the first in command. She she said, well, she was trying to give me feedback and was giving me the what we call the sandwich. You give the positive feedback, and then you give the space for constructive criticism, and then you follow it up with something positive. She was like, well, you have such a big personality, and I was like, are you trying to say I'm Black without saying I'm Black? Is that what we're doing? So, and it's not like I came to work with the bigness of my personality. I was very toned down in the office, as, we often have to do, as women of color and as Black women. And I was like, okay, all right, this is what it is. And after trying to, fit into their culture, I was like, I can't do it, and I'm not gonna do it. And I left and I walked out of there. So I definitely took that very much to heart, in both a negative way and then in a positive way. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to be myself wherever I go. Those who I'm meant for, like, I don't need to work with everybody in the world. I really only need a handful of people to work with to, have the business that I want to have. So it's so important to me to show up the way I show up, to be who I am. I am that person who can flow in corporate spaces. I am that person who can be like the down home girl. I can flow between different voices in terms of, yes, I could speak corporate ease. Yes, I could speak, New York. Yes, I could speak Atlanta. I can do all of these things. And so there are people who are looking for me, who are looking for someone as versatile and as flexible as I am. And I'm not going to worry about those who I am not for. So show up as yourself, be who you are. Don't worry about who is not for you, because they're just not going to be attracted to you. But those who are meant to be attracted to you will. And that is the way that, even though I have grown my business slowly, even though I have paused my business, for the most part, I have worked with people that I have just clicked with, and it has been beautiful. And I'm just looking to scale that now at this point in time with, now the skills and the knowledge that I have in hand. But yeah, build the business that you want by being the person who you are.
Absolutely love that. Your blueprint for that authentic trust. You talked about that content, that networking, referrals, as well as the importance of showing up as yourself. And I think that's something that entrepreneurs really need to be able to grasp, because it's not our job to reach everyone. What we have
Nope.
to offer, it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's taste, but it is light to those that choose to bask in the light of it
Exactly.
and the beauty of it. And so I absolutely love that. Now, Denise Renee, there was something that you said a little while ago that I thought was really interesting, and I want to kind of backtrack for you to talk about that. One of the things that you made mention of is that there was a client that was stalking you for a while online as far as with your content and all of that. And you all ended up working together and still working together for so many years, and that you all are now in this space of client and friend. So I know oftentimes in the world of business, we always try to say, have that dividing line where it's just all business and not personal. Can you share with us just a little bit, what would you say are the pros and cons of melding those two roles of client and developing into those friendships? What are some of the pros, and what would you think are some of the cons?
I can't say that it's something I intentionally did, that it just kind of
Mm-hmm.
happened. um, it just kind of happened. But I always, for me, I always keep in mind, when we're working on a specific project, that, this is my client and I am attentive to them. I'm communicative about, what's going on in the project, where we are. I'm making sure I'm doing all of the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not, slacking, or, whenever anybody is giving me money for something, I sit up and I pay attention a little bit more than if I'm just doing something for myself. And that is even something that I'm working on changing, because I realize that it's not good to, like, say to myself, "Oh, I'm going to do XYZ," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't feel like it, so I don't have to." Like, no, it's important to keep the promises that I make to myself, just as it is important to keep the promises that I make to others. So I just make sure that when we're specifically in an engagement, I'm doing my best, and I'm communicating, and I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, as a service provider, whether I'm ghostwriting, whether I am editing a manuscript, or whether I'm coaching them. On the flip, when we're not specifically in an engagement, I may be just, calling them up and saying, "Hey, what's going on? How's everything? How's your family? Whatever, da, da, da," and they do the same. So that's kind of, that's kind of where that lives for me. But I can't say that I have, um, it was something that happened out of intention. It just sort of happens, and I'm like, hey, that's fine, that's cool, I love it.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me. So your ability to keep everything in its own box is what enables that to work, even though that's not something that you would set out to do with all clients. But if it can happen organically, being able to
Yeah,
keep that separation
yeah, definitely.
is wonderful. So I think that's pretty awesome. So we're going to take a shift here, Denise, Renee, because we are beginning to wind down our conversation. I've been loving it thus far. All of the information, some of the backstories, and taking us behind the scenes and things. Now, as you know, this my podcast is called the Women's Leadership Mindset Series. And one of the things is that I believe that every woman is a leader that has a controlling influence over a particular domain, a cause, a people, a territory, or a region. So you have given us many adjectives about yourself thus far in our conversation today. But if you were, and I know that you mentioned that you are the chief of everything officer, but if you could, what kind of leader would you say that you are?
I, as the chief everything officer, and the reason I call myself, and I really joke at that because I actually don't really like titles. I can't stand them. I feel like sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes people use titles as a form of pretension and as a way to hide behind a semblance of authority and a semblance of power when they really have done nothing for it. And as such, if there's anything I would describe myself with the type of leader that I am, I would be the servant leader. And that's a title that's used or called of Jesus. Jesus was very demonstrative. Before he said, I am anything, and he didn't even say, I am anything. He said, who do you say I am? Who do men say I am? He didn't say, I am the. And the only time he declared that was after it was declared of him. So Jesus was busy out in the streets. He was outside. He was doing stuff. He was healing people. He was feeding people. He was teaching people. He did the work. That's the kind of person I am. I don't care what you call me. Just don't lie. Just don't lie about me. But I'm just gonna, roll up my sleeves, get on my hands and knees, and get down in the dirt, and help the dirt, pull the weeds and help the flower to grow. That's the kind of leader that I am, no matter what it is that I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I really love that about the servant leader concept or structure of leadership. I really love that. So now, Denise, Renee, how do you believe that you will, or how will future generations benefit from the work that you are doing today? So, as a leader, how do you believe that future generations will benefit from the work that you're doing today?
I would hope that the work that I do today and what I leave behind really is going to be a library of content. Some of that content will be educational in terms of, how to write. And I think in this day and age where right now in 2024, where you can go to Chat GPT, you can go to Gemini, can go to Jasper, you can go to a whole lot of different AI generative software and say, write me an article, a 2,000 word article about blah, blah, blah. Help me write this book. I think the art of thinking for yourself and putting your own ideas together yourself, I think it's in danger of being lost. And I don't think it's in danger of being lost in terms of, oh my God, the world's coming to an end and the AI robots are coming to get us. I'm not scared of it that way. I just feel like these things are tools and they can be so very helpful, but I don't think that we should lose our ability to know how to do these things ourselves. I don't think that we should lose the connection with tapping into our own imaginations and tapping into our own thoughts and fears and feelings, and writing for ourselves. So part of my content does teach very specifically how to write and how to get your ideas out, for the types of books that I mentioned earlier, that business book, that how-to book, that methodology book, the client success story, and the memoir. But I'm also a fiction writer as well. So, I have my own methodology for writing fiction. And I've started a podcast a couple weeks ago. It's called Unpublished, where I share some of my unpublished work that I have not published yet. And in a few weeks, I'm going to be releasing an episode series where I just break down my creative writing process. More of the content on my YouTube channel is mostly on, business book writing. But I really hope that what I leave behind for my son and for, the generations, I don't know, they ran out of, they started with X, they went to Y, they went to Z, now they're at Alpha. I guess the beta, the beta and the gamma's coming after them. I would hope that, in the annals of history of the internet, as it continues to grow, that, my work somewhere, helps someone tap into their own thoughts and their own God-given talents. And they're like, hey, AI is cool, but I'm going to do some of this stuff myself. And so whether it's business writing or whether it's creative writing, and even, writing in general is such a foundational skill, because it's really about thinking. It's really about being able to communicate your ideas. And once you can do that in writing, you can do that in any other format. So that's what I would hope that people would be able to take away from, the work and the content library that I'm building up today.
Absolutely. Maintaining our being able to have original thought and having an original imagination. I think that really is the power of the human family. So I absolutely love that. Now, you mentioned your podcast, so I love the title of that, called Published.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've been sharing little anecdotes with us here and there, but just very quickly, take us behind the curtain of what it looks like, some of the unsexy moments as far as trying to get finished with the book, from moving out of that realm of unpublished to published. Maybe take us behind the scenes and maybe share with us either something that was funny or something, or one of your most intense moments behind the scenes on this adventure of publishing your book.
I would say something that's very unsexy is just dealing with self-doubt. I have been writing, like you said in my bio, since I could hold a crayon, right? I've been writing a very long time. So I am not in doubt of my ability to write. A lot of people are. And so the reason why I am a writing coach, the reason why I am an editor, the reason why I am a ghostwriter is because I lend my ease and facility with writing to them. And I'm not going to say that I didn't have to learn writing, because I did. Writing is a skill. Anybody can learn it, but not everybody wants to, and that's okay. I'm a geek, I'm a learning geek. I'm a reading nerd. And so, boom, this is my thing. But my issue isn't the writing. My issue is just feeling like, oh my God, you have been writing for a long time. I think people have a high expectation of yourself. Or maybe it's not people, maybe it's yourself. Maybe you have a very high expectation of yourself. And so, literally the book that I'm going to be publishing at the end of this year, I wrote it 4 years ago. And then I sat on it because I was just scared and nervous. And I literally talked myself out of it. So I had to talk myself into it. I had to, honestly, I had to be like, girl, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Okay. And this is how I talk to myself, because I'm like, girl, you cannot get on your clients. You cannot get on other people. You cannot get on the internet and tell them to do X, Y, Z, and you're not doing it yourself. Get up and let's go. So yeah, that's unsexy. We all have our struggles, and mine has been self-doubt, and mine has been, I feel like, and it's so dumb, it's so irrational. But you know what? The more I say it out loud and the more I say it publicly, the more I take away its power. The dumbness of it is that I feel like, okay, if I don't sell a certain amount of copies, I'm going to be a failure. And people are going to think, oh, well, she couldn't even sell her own book. She couldn't even be a bestseller. And the dumbness of it is that bestseller does not equal best written. Your
It doesn't.
ability to sell your book is a function of your sales and marketing plan and how well you executed it. It does not mean that book is the best written. It does not. And just because it may hit the top of a bestseller list, whether on Amazon, New York Times, US World and World Report, whatever it is, even if it's sold all XYZ copies, and there's so much manipulation with those lists, that doesn't mean that everybody read it and that everybody loved it. So, I know we are very fascinated by, numbers. We love to see big numbers. We love to see, you're successful if you have posted up these numbers on the board. And I know this, and yet still I still succumb to, the internal and external pressure of it. And I'm like, what, girl, put the book out, let the book start working for you, and just do what you got to do and keep it moving. So, and even with, my fiction, I've just, I love to do it, and I just haven't published anything. So that's why I'm now like kind of easing my way into it. I'm like, okay, let's do a WIP podcast. A WIP means work in progress, WIP. So I'm like, okay, that's like my soft way of like, technically, once you kind of put it out in the public, it is published. It's just not officially, published in book form. But I'm like, teasing little short stories here and there, talking about more. So I'm just warming myself up to the idea, and also just introducing people to the fact that, because I've never talked publicly about the fact that I am a fiction writer. So it's come together. It's come together. I'm getting my life. I'm getting my internal life together. And I have to laugh at myself because I'm ridiculous.
We have to have those conversations with ourselves, like get to work. Sometimes we have to do that. I know, even just recently with me, just recently publishing my book, even with hitting the publish button, it's like, no, let me delete.
It's scary. It's scary.
It's scary, but it's like it's too late now. And I'm like, if I move one more thing or inch something over to the left one more time, it's like turn this thing loose and let it go and let it do whatever it is it's going to do.
Exactly.
What's important is that you are obedient to finish the work. Now, it's none of our business as far as how the work will be received. And so I think we want to be able to control both sides.
And we can't. We can't. We can only control. We can only do what we can do, and like you said, let the rest fly. Let it land where it's supposed to land, and that's it.
Absolutely. Well, Denise, Renee, I've been enjoying our conversation on today. As we prepare to wind down, this is your opportunity, and you've been giving us great education along the way. But this is your opportunity to either give a tip or encouragement or a resource to those who may be listening or that will listen to this conversation on today. So, what tip, what encouragement, what resource would you give to someone who's teeter-tottering on that book that needs to be published, who keeps moving stuff to the right or to the left instead of letting it go, or who might still be sitting on something like that? What would you say to that individual to get them off the fence and go ahead and pursue their dream book and getting it out into the marketplace?
Sometimes trying to reach towards a goal, in some cases, in some situations, sometimes it's not motivating enough, or sometimes it's not clear enough. Sometimes when people are thinking about specifically writing a book, they're thinking, oh, they think I'm going to sell lots of copies, but they don't have a specific number in mind. They think I'm going to make lots of money, but they don't have a specific number in mind, because it's kind of hard to imagine that. Like, you haven't been in that situation and you have no idea what it's going to be. And it's scary. It's like a fear of the unknown. What I have found for me recently has been a more powerful motivator than reaching for the unknown that I can't yet define, is looking back and being scared of where I was. I know what it is to sit on what I've been given for 4 years or more. I know what has not happened because I did not release that book 4 years ago. I know what has happened when I did not do X, Y, and Z. There's a number of things that I did not do in my business earlier on, and I knew I should have done them, and I didn't do them. And I'm like, "Ooh, this is why you're here at a restart point." Have I learned? Yes, I've learned, but sometimes I'm hard headed, so I gotta learn the hard way. And what is propelling me forward is I may not know exactly how everything ahead of me is going to look and how it's going to go, but God knows I am scared of being where I was. I don't want to be there anymore. And I know what doing nothing looks like. I know what not taking action looks like. And right now, I don't want that no more. I'm scared of that. So it is now the fire on my tail that pushes me forward because I don't want to go back. So maybe in the times that you have conversations with yourself and the times that you have conversations with God, maybe it's too hard to define the future, but the past is crystal clear. Do you want to keep repeating that? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, then get up and do what you have to do. If you have to get help along the way, get the help that you need along the way. There's always help for everything and anything. Somebody has done what it is that you want to do. Somebody's done it. If it's me, cool. If it's Miss Teresa, go ahead. If it's somebody else, that's fine. But go get it. Go get the help and don't stay where you were. Because better is calling. Greater is calling.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was absolutely powerful. Now, let's talk about another either a tip, encouragement, or resource for someone who's already taken that step as far as launching that book, getting it out there. They did what they need to do. They got the help that they needed, and they finally got a finished product into the marketplace. But they might be feeling a bit frustrated or a bit stuck because things are not moving as quickly or as fast as they would like it to. What tip, encouragement, or resource would you give someone who's already stepped into that place of living the dream, but they're feeling a little bit stuck? What would you say to them?
The tip would be that, and this is coming, even though I have not published and marketed my own book, I have worked with people who have, not to mention all of my marketing experience. Writing and publishing your book is not a one-time event. The launch is an event, but now that you have this book, the beauty of it is that you've already created it. You've done the hard work. Now you have to nurture it. It's kind of like a baby. And especially if you're a woman, you bake that baby for 9 months. And now that it's on the other side, yeah, it doesn't stay a baby for long. You got to keep nurturing that baby as it grows, right? So you have to continue to nurture your book and let it grow. You have to keep promoting the book. And a resource, I just recently started another podcast. Actually, I have 3 podcasts going because I love creating content. Yes, didn't I say as a hardworking Headley? Okay, I'm the chief everything officer.
So it's podcast number 3.
But the other podcast, no, I really love this podcast and I'm loving how everything is going. And somebody shall be an upcoming guest really, really, really soon. But it's called the Sell Your Book Podcast. You can find it right now on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube go to youtube.com/@writing with Denise Renee. And look for the Sell Your Book Podcast. And there I interview other authors, everyday authors. I'm not trying to go for the celebrity or the big names or whatever. I mean, may I go there? I don't know. But for right now, I'm really looking to just encourage just this type of person who's like, either they're getting ready to publish their book or they're thinking about it or they have published it, but sales are not going the way that they thought. And so my guests share their different sales tips, tricks, and secrets and what they're doing to continuously promote their books to make sure that they're getting the sales, and not only just the direct sales of the book, but really the biggest power of having a book as a business person is the opportunity. So even if you only sell 100 copies of your book, if those 100 copies go to a very targeted audience, that could turn into, yes, you may have sold the book for $20, but now that could turn into 10x, 20x the money, because of now these is the book funnel that's leading people into your business, and they're taking you up on your services, or you're getting new consulting contracts, or whatever it is. So you don't have to sell millions and millions of copies, but you do have to be strategic about it. And if you're not sure about the strategy, then check out the Sell Your Book podcast. Comes out once a week on Saturdays, and you can get some ideas and encouragement.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's wonderful. So that is absolutely great. So thank you for sharing this information and making sure that writers and authors are able to get some nuggets and information that's going to help them on their path. Now, Denise, Renee, as we prepare, we're winding on down. I think this is about the third time I just said
it. you like the passing now. Yeah, I'm winding up. I'm winding up. 30 minutes later.
You get 3 of those. You get 3 of them. I'm getting ready to close. So
meanwhile, the cornbread back at home burning.
Yes. So you have a free gift for our audience on today. So the 4 steps to book writing success free checklist with interactive media. Tell us about it.
Sure. So, like I said, my specialty is helping people to take their business knowledge, their expertise, and put it into the form of a book. Sometimes people just don't know how they should format that book, or what should go in it, or how to even, they have a lot of ideas, but they're all over the place. So this resource, it's 2 PDF pages, very simple. It gives you a very simple 1, 2, 3, 4 of what to do. But besides, there's only so much you could fit on 1 page, right? and it's 2 sentences, and you could be like, okay, Denise, Renee, that's cool. But how do I do that? So on the second page of the PDF, there are links to videos that will explain each of those steps more in depth. I think the total runtime on the videos is about 90 minutes. So it's a nice, quick, compact way to get a lot of information in. You can consume it all at once, or you could break it up, whatever, what have you. But it will give you the information that you need of what you should do and how you should be structuring your book and how to get started. And if you take that and put pen to paper, or crack open a fresh document and get yourself started, that will put you on the path to writing the type of book that's going to help you get more clients into your business, get more opportunities for your brand, and expand your audience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're going to make sure that we put this information in the bio so our audience can take advantage of it.
And it's free 99. It's free 99. Okay. Free 99. All right. Only thing it's going to cost you is you got to type in your email address. That's it. And then I just send you an email once a week. That's all.
Absolutely love that. Well, thank you, Denise, Renee, for joining us on today. It was such an honor. I truly enjoyed our conversation. It was so wonderful to have you. So thank you so much for being with us on today. And so any last words before we begin to finally close up on today?
No, because I could talk for a long time. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And, I felt really comfortable. And one thing I am is I'm a very honest and open person. I'm going to be, I think when I listen back to this in a year or two, I'm going to be like, oh, look at where she was. I'm excited. I'm excited to listen to this in a year or two and be like, yeah, that's where I was. But you know what? This is where I am now. And it is what it is, and I am who I am, and it's all good. So thank you for giving me thank you for giving me the platform to just share.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, ladies, we want to thank you for joining us on today. Remember to connect with our guests and their free gift. We want you to visit Denise Renee on her website at writingwithdeniserenee.com. You can also connect with her on LinkedIn at Writing with Denise Renee. And don't forget to take full advantage of her free gift, 4 steps to book writing success, a free checklist with interactive media. You're able to access that at writingwithDeniseRenee.com/4 steps. And she mentioned that it's free 99.
Free,
it doesn't
baby,
cost
free.
you anything
But your email address.
email address. Absolutely. Now, do you have an important story to tell that would inspire others to step into their dream career or business? If so, please check the bio to learn how to become one of my special guests. And I would also like to invite all of you to check out my brand new book, My Journey to Wholeness, Love the Success Factor. To learn more, also check the bio to learn a little bit more on how to participate in my pre-order campaign. So we want to say thank you for joining in for another episode of the Women's Leadership Mindset series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.